You are listening to the USDN on the DSPN.
It's a trap!
What is up, everybody? It's the chairman of the United States Department of Nerds, where we are for the people, by the people, and of the people. And tonight, we're taking one more trip to New Orleans. The year is 2030. The city breathes, but it's shallow breath, heavy with sin and smoke. The dead don't rest here, and sometimes they don't rest at all. Tonight, the United States Department of Nerds is happy to have Styles and his lovely wife Nicole from Lucky Devil Comics on to talk about the plague. Issue number one. Styles, Nicole, welcome to the show. How the hell you doing?
Oh, great. Thanks.
Doing good, man. Thanks for having us. Yeah, excited to jump into it.
Oh, welcome aboard, man. I'm happy to have y'all here. There's a lot of hype behind the plague, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Now then, let's start where the curse begins. At the moment of creation, what was your influence for the plague? Like, what made you go, I'm going to write a comic book, The Plague?
Yeah. So I've always wanted to do a comic. It's just that, life, you get busy, your hobbies drop off, you're trying to make money, that whole thing. So
been doing that one for 43 years. Yes.
Yeah.
Well aware of that one.
I'm 35, and I mean, it's taken me this long, but finally I got everything together. I got the idea, the script. So like I said, I've always wanted to do it, and I'm finally kind of in a position where I can do it. Yeah.
I love it, dude. I love to hear it. So what were some of your, what comic book that kind of influenced this book and kind of gave you the idea? Like, was there a particular comic book out there that heavily influenced you for this?
Yeah, I've had a few people reach out and say, "Oh, cool comic. It gives me like Spawn vibes or Ghost Rider."
Yeah, that was my initial vibe was Spawn, and being a longtime Spawn fan since the 90s.
Todd
I was just like,
Image Comics, amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Matter of fact, that's probably 90% of the comic books I read today are all from Image Comics. So
yeah, well, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on over there in the whole indie scene. And
well, I mean, they're part of the top three now. I mean, I know they're still heavily indie influenced, but they're probably the number 3 comic book creator out there right now. So followed by Boom and Dynamite, all 3 absolutely killing it. I mean, yeah, we still refer to them as indies, but Image is easily putting up Marvel money, maybe DC money,
Yeah, that's true. And they're still going strong. I mean, Spawn is on its 500th issue now. I don't even know.
No, 370 something, I believe, is my last count. I can tell you the exact number, but I don't want to look. Collect Spawn. That's why I know.
Yeah, same here.
I've been collecting Spawn since, like I said, the 90s. So what inspired this story? Was it more of a comic influence or something climatic? Like The Crow or the Punisher?
Yeah,
Robocop?
those are great characters. I love all those characters, but like I said, people have reached out and said it's very like Spawn, very Ghost
Mhm.
Rider, but uh, actually, I think the direct influences would be like Swamp Thing.
Oh, I like it.
Hence, yeah, hence like the New Orleans swamp setting.
Oh yeah.
And outside of comics, I'd say George Orwell's 1984.
Ooh, good one.
So
Yeah,
I feel like
like
I've
it.
got a lot of different influences.
Actually,
Maybe
yeah,
like a
no. From what you sent me on the book over, it does have some of that 1984 vibes to it. No, I like that. Oh, that's a good one. Damn,
yeah,
that is
yeah.
really good. I like that one a lot. So, what was the very first image or idea that stuck in your mind when you knew you had to make this comic?
Well, when I first got started, it really just all started with a concept. I didn't
Mhm.
really know what I was doing or what I was setting out. I just wanted to create something cool. And so the original idea for the plague was completely different. It was not a supernatural story. It was more like experiment gone wrong kind of thing.
I would
And
agree with this one.
sorry,
That would have been a really cool concept to follow as well with this one, with how you got the lab set in the very beginning.
yeah, well, that's where it all comes from. I mean, that was the original idea until I created the original concept for the character, and my wife took one look and said, "That looks like Deadpool." And it was actually it's kind of like a cross between the Toxic Avenger and Deadpool.
Oh,
And I
classic.
I
New
actually have an
Jersey's
image.
favorite son.
I have an image of the. This is the original artwork for what the plague was
Okay.
meant to be. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah, it almost looks like the mask with Jim Carrey a little bit. And
Yeah,
then the Toxic Avenger in the mask had a baby.
yeah. It was very slapstick, very comedy oriented. I
Mhm.
almost story wise, I would almost say it's like Ghostbusters meets like Buffy.
Ooh,
It was meant to be very slapstick, off the wall
yeah,
thing,
that would have
but
definitely been a strange one to, but it would have worked though. I feel like sometimes it's those odd combinations that work, so that could have worked too. But I'm glad you're
yeah,
going in the direction you're going in, Nicole.
yeah,
Thanks,
like
appreciate you pushing that one along.
well, she has a great eye for art.
Mhm.
She's a great artist herself. So
Okay, there you
whenever she
go.
gives me
I
critique, I
like it.
take it
Giving her
serious.
props.
Yeah, she's a fantastic artist. She actually created the wallpapers, which will be on our Kickstarter, and
Okay,
those will be
nice.
completely for free. Uh, but yeah, so like I said, she's my critique expert. So after I originally created the play, she told me that it needs some tweaks, needs some changes. So I went back to the drawing board and I just started playing around, seeing what I could create, and then finally I just kind of slapped a cape on him, which initially I wasn't going in that direction. I wasn't thinking like
Mhm.
Spawn, Supernatural,
Yeah.
but for some reason I slapped that cape on and it just stood out. It was like, okay, I got something
Yeah.
here.
No, it looks really freaking good. Not just because it's like it's the way the cape is done, the way it like comes like completely around to like to where it hides some of his face too.
Yeah,
That to me is really cool the way you did the cape. So kudos on that, man. It's a
well, thank you.
really cool character. Like you can kind of see where the influences come from with him, even though he's a very different character. But you could see the subtle influences in him from the other characters you may have drawn from, and I really like that about the plague. It's a really cool concept and a really cool character. But gotta ask though, why New Orleans in 2030, and what does that set in bring to the tone of this story?
Yeah, well, New Orleans was my first choice when it came to deciding the setting. And the
Mm,
reason why, like I mentioned, Swamp Thing, that was
other
one
people
one of
love
my
it.
biggest. Yeah, I love New Orleans. I've never been there, but it's such an
Oh,
interesting
you got it.
place.
When you can make your way down there, it's absolutely beautiful. Like I would say the fall time frame when the leaves start falling down there,
Mm.
and then do the carriage ride at night. Amazing, especially if you
Yeah,
like the macabre and like the ghost story type stuff. It's a really fun trip.
yeah, I'd love to go. I mean, I used to be like a cross-border truck driver, so I've seen almost every state. I've just been to Florida recently, which is where my wife is from.
Okay.
But Yeah, New Orleans is definitely on the bucket list, and I think it would be good for inspiration. You know, to see
Mhm.
things up close.
Oh
That
yeah.
way, I can add it into the comic. But in terms of why I chose it, um, I thought there's so much you can do with it. You know, it's almost like the environment is actually like a character itself.
It
You know,
is.
it can set the mood. Um, it can change everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just a very interesting place. You know, it's almost like magical,
Yep.
especially
And
that swamp setting. It's like very isolated. It's like primordial. So yeah, that was the reason why I chose New Orleans.
mhm.
And the reason I went with 2030 is because, well, initially I wanted to do 2050,
Yeah.
and that was where I was going with it. But it felt so far into the future that it was like not relatable.
Yeah. No, I get that too. Yeah.
So
I
I
think
went with
either one of those
2030.
could have worked. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
mean,
because I mean
if you
20.
went far enough out, then because we don't really know, but 2030 is like this nice. It's
Yeah,
5 years down
exactly.
the road. We kind of can see where the world is going, and it almost to be when you sent it over and I read it initially, I was like, damn, this is 2021 all over again.
Yeah, that was part of the inspiration. I mean, how quickly things can change and how people can change so quickly.
Mhm.
It's like you might think you know somebody, and then when things get real, it's like their whole attitude, their whole persona, everything changes. So
No, absolutely.
that was one aspect about like human psychology I want to add into the story,
Mhm.
which I know you haven't seen the complete version yet. You only got the sample version.
Yeah, I think it's the first 12 pages or something like that. And it's
Yeah.
really, really, really nice. Like the
Oh, thank
art
you.
is fantastic. I don't know who's doing your art on it, but they are doing a fantastic job. It looks really good. And
Thank
my
you.
boy
Thank you.
Kelvin here, he's a New Orleans guy too. He's from down there. He's from Louisiana. So
Yeah. Shout out to Kelvin. And
it's my
speaking of
brother.
shout outs,
It's my
I want to
brother.
say quick shout out to Duke Electric, fellow Canadian.
That's my fella right there. I love some Duke Electric, man. He's
Yeah,
such a fun character. He is a character.
he's
If
got the
you're not,
pink suit. He's got the new comic Greg coming out, which seems like a wild ride. So
dude, I've read Greg. I own Greg, and Greg is a fantastic read. It's a fantastic ride. And to be fair, what I've got to read of the plague, that is going to be a fantastic ride as well, because it cuts off right when I know it was about to get really freaking good. So I was just like, I'm not even mad that because I got to see the first 12 pages. Nobody else has got to do that except for maybe Nicole here. And
yeah,
I was like, oh, damn. I'm like, when I thought I was going to get to scroll down one more and see what was about to happen, I was like, that's it. I'm like, I'm not even mad, but damn, I want more. So I'm
yeah,
not going to lie to anybody. If you're on the fence about backing this comic book, don't be. The art's fantastic. The story is great. It feels like you're in a very bad 2021 in the beginning of it. And then you get to this beautiful swamp of New Orleans, and oh, dude, it I love it. I really do. So tell us how the plague himself evolves from concept to like this cursed avenger that we're going to get. I know he was a security guard, and then I know at some point he's going to become the plague.
yeah. So Diego Diaz is his real name, and in my mind, he's a well-meaning, simple guy, just trying to make his way in the world. But he's caught up in some nefarious things, and he kind of turns a blind eye to it, and in the end, he's going to pay for it. And there's supernatural elements, but I'm keeping them kind of
No, please keep them secret until the
yeah,
book
keeping
comes
them
out.
kind of secret. In fact, in the comic, there's going to be little kind of Easter eggs where you don't see it right up front, but when
Mm-hmm.
that moment where he becomes the plague finally does happen,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to see that, oh, this was kind of there in the background the whole time.
See, I always tell people I read, I don't just read a comic book, I study the comic book. So as I'm reading it, it will take me 5 to 10 minutes to read a page. even though there's only 20 words on the page, because I'm looking at the art and I'm looking for those Easter eggs. And I'm telling y'all, more comic books have Easter eggs than you realize, and they are always fun when you find them. So that's really cool. You just straight up like, hey, there's going to be Easter eggs that give you hints along the way. I like that a lot. I think that is one of the most underutilized thing in comic books is those little subtle Easter eggs. So
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't pick up on it until you like learn more. Like maybe a few issues in, you're like, oh, wait a second. You know what I mean? Then you'll be able to connect the dots. You know?
Yeah, no, that's very true. And I think like James Tinian does a really good job at doing that, where you have to go pick up like 3 issues prior and pick it back up and go, it was right there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little subtle art of storytelling that can be phenomenal to be used. And I'm glad you're using that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like when things always come like full circle.
Yep.
That's why with the plague, I'm actually kind of writing the whole story in its entirety first.
Mhm.
So I've got like an overview of about 100 issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that
Oof.
way, when it's done, I can kind of look at the story in totality and know where it's going and where to add those Easter eggs.
And that way it's consistent too, because like if you try to make up something later on, then you know you might look back
contradict yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, I thought he was the the only one or whatever. You know what I mean? So
No, honestly, that's a really good way to do this. Is just to have the entire thing laid out, and then as you're building an issue for the next Kickstarter or whatnot, it's like, okay, this part I like this, I like this. I'm not a big fan of that part, so let me make that part. I'm going to take that out, and then we're going to do this part, and this part. I like that concept, and I like that you're doing that. That will put together a fantastic run for you. Hopefully, here very soon, because I know we're getting ready to kick it off here really soon.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm talking about 100 issues, and we're not even on the first issue yet. But I mean, I'm just so excited for it. I can't wait for
I
people
love
to see
the
what we have.
enthusiasm of it, man. That's killer. I love to see that enthusiasm. And even my boy Kelvin here is a well thought out plan. This has me excited to see what you did. And I've got to see half. And I'm telling you, I'm very impressed with the half that I've gotten to
Thank
see. No. So we're describing his power as cursed. Like, what all does that curse kind of entail, and how is that affecting him physically and mentally? I know, I mean, we can look at the character himself. We know it affected him physically, and that in itself would have a mental toll on him. But kind of give us a little background on what this curse is and what it means to our main character here.
Well, when Diego finally goes through that transformation, the power that he's getting, it's not coming from a good place. So it's kind of like he's making a trade-off. He's kind of paying a price for taking on this power. And that actually harkens back to the name of the brand, which is Lucky Devil Comics. Because originally I was going to call the company Devil's Luck Comics. It's kind of ominous.
Ooh, that could have been
like
a good
warning.
one too. I like it both ways. Both of them would have been cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like a warning, right? I mean, you got to be careful what you wish for.
Mm-hmm.
With the Devil's Luck, it's like you might get what you want, but it's coming at a price. Like, for instance, let's say you wish for $1 million. One day you might wake up and realize you have $1 million, but it's because somebody you loved died and left you the insurance money or something terrible.
No,
So
I like it.
So the idea is there's always a price to be paid, and you have to be careful with what you wish for.
I like it a lot. I always it's like the evil genies that you read stories about, and yeah, you're getting your 3 wishes, but all 3 of those wishes are going to have a twist to them. So I always enjoy stories like that because it just makes for good storytelling.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the story kind of promises a war on both earthly corruption and hell itself. How do those two forces intertwine within the plague? I know I'm getting into a little bit more of the psychology portion of the book, but give us a little background on that.
Yeah, so with Diego Diaz, the world he's living in, he's kind of like in between two worlds. And he comes from one world, which is, that dystopian kind of bleak future. And he kind of gets entangled in a conspiracy.
Yep.
And you find later on that conspiracy is not just dealing with like worldly powers. The deeper down the rabbit hole he goes, the more he's going to realize that it's connected to something a lot more dark and sinister. And there's all these isolated events happening that he's trying to, fight with, but they're not isolated at all. He's going to find that it's all kind of interconnected to something a lot bigger.
I like it. I like deep storytelling like that, where the Alice in Wonderland theory, right? The deeper you go, the rabbit hole, the crazier it gets. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. So is this a revenge story or something deeper? Maybe we're going to get some redemption wrapped up in damnation with it.
Yeah, to me, that's the whole idea of the plague is, on the surface, it seems like a very Spawn type of story, revenge, all these dark forces. But those are just layers on top of what's really going on, which is about Diego's faith. He's as a man, he's a good man that has faith, and then after he becomes a plague, his psyche and his faith is kind of just shattered. And his whole kind of adventure or journey is about him reconnecting with his humanity and his faith. So it starts off as kind of like a revenge story. But again, the more he battles these forces, the more he realizes everything is kind of connected and he can't just fight for himself or revenge.
Oh, dude, I like that deepness to it. I like it.
Yeah.
So Kelvin, again, it's just like, he said it has a Spawn meets Skeletor vibe, and I can see that too. I like that. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, those are two characters with awesome designs. So,
dude, yeah,
that's a compliment.
Nothing as classic as Skeletor when it comes to a villain. So what kind of a message or emotion are you trying to channel through the Pled's Crusade with this one? I think you kind of hinted on it a little bit, but
yeah, there's a lot of themes going on. I mean, there's a lot of things I want to say through the story. Personal views that I have.
No. If you feel like you're going to give too much away, just like, hey, let's save that part for the comic book, and I'm perfectly cool with that, because honestly, at the end of the day, we're here to sell the Plague to people, and I don't want you to give away too much. So
yeah, for sure. But in terms of like themes or like messages that I'm trying to get across, Diego's he's a complicated character, but all that complexity is actually stems from him being a simple person. And he's like this, he's a simple man in this overcomplicated world, and there's all these things going on, and there's all these reasons to kind of, challenge his faith. But in the end, that's what it's all about. It's about him going back to his faith and having something to believe in.
I like that. So how do you think the Plague sees himself, as a savior or as a weapon that is a instrument to being a savior?
Yeah, well, that's going to be part of his journey. Is when he first becomes the Plague, he doesn't necessarily know what he is or how he became that. He has a general idea, but he doesn't know what's really going on. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but
that's perfectly fine. No, that's an acceptable answer, man.
And I mean,
like I said,
there's still a lot that I'm fleshing out for myself as well. Because like I said, this is the first issue. I've got a lot written, but I'm toying with a lot of different themes and ideas.
Dude, that's perfectly fine, man. I like to hear that. We're hearing it firsthand that the character and everything is still evolving. And yes, I've gotten to read the first 12 pages, and even that may still evolve more as you probably go back to edits or redraws or something like that. So, dude, that's cool by me, man. Like I said, I enjoyed what you sent over tremendously. and I've enjoyed seeing all the support that you have gotten for this comic book so far. To me, that's telling on behalf of
It's
what you've created here
yeah,
and your friends and family and those who are excited for the comic book as well. So
yeah. I can't believe how much how much bigger this has become than I thought it would be. I mean, there was a moment where before I launched or before I even started on Instagram, I was kind of looking at it, ready to hit the button and thinking, am I really doing this? Like, I'm really putting myself out there to be, judged, or, people could hate this or people could not give two shits about it.
yeah,
So
no, I think it's been the exact opposite of that.
yeah, it's been
'Cause-
amazing.
And like I said, like it's been an outpour of support. Like every time I post something from you or I reblog it, like, hey, don't forget tonight at 7 o'clock, we're going, and people are like, yeah, which immediately hypes me up because I'm like, damn, I like the support he's got for this book, and you haven't even like started the Kickstarter yet. So I enjoy really seeing that. And yeah, the story is deep, it's intriguing, and probably what the fourth person who's really seen the comic book from a in work in progress. I will 100% say yes, the story is very deep, it is very intriguing, and it's very relatable to the current times that we live in, which is really cool to me, because you
Yeah,
can take
that's
that real world and then spin it into this fictional world that you've created for the plague. So
exactly. Yeah, that was one of the main things that I wanted to do, was create something that was, on one hand, kind of timeless, where you could go back like 30 years from now, read the story, and it still means something.
still resonates, because it really does. Like I said, when I read those first 2 or 3 pages, I was like, shit, this is 2021. And we're all masked up. We're all 6 feet away from each other. And I was like, holy hell.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like,
my husband is also like a big Resident Evil fan as well. So I also get this Resident Evil vibe, like, evil
no,
corporation,
no.
you know what I mean?
No, I like that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think we're all hyped up for some new Resident Evil here pretty soon. So
Yeah, I think we're on Resident Evil 9.
I think it's going to be 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the art and the tone of this book is striking, man. It's like even the city itself is like gritty, and you kind of get this, like, it's in this New Orleans, so you got that like neo noir type of feel to it. And so walk us through the visual identity of the plague.
Yeah, so that's another reason why I chose New Orleans, is because you could create such a contrast with what's going on at that point in time. I mean, it
Yeah.
is dystopian, it is all these things, but New Orleans is such like a colorful, vibrant, strange place.
Oh no, it still feels like it's a dystopian future or a dystopian past, however you want to look at it. No matter when you go down there,
Yes. Yeah.
it's an amazing city. But honestly, you could walk from one side of it and it feels like, this dystopian future where it's a ghost town. Then go to the very opposite end of the same street and it's this bustling metropolis. It's a really cool place to be in. Really cool to see. It's got, parts that are just absolutely amazing. And then there's parts of it that are just like really depressing. So you nailed the vibe of that 100%.
Thank you.
So I know we spoke on this a little bit earlier. How did you approach the design of the plague himself, his armor, scars, this Spawn Skeletor looking character? And I know we kind of we touched on it a little bit. You showed us what the original one looked like, but kind of like, what was the approach? Like, did you work with the artist to do it, or did your wife help you come up with it? Like, how was the original approach to that?
Well, I came up with the designs. That's one of my biggest hobbies, is just designing characters. In fact, I got a binder
Oh yeah,
right
you should use a
here,
good binder. It's
which is
heavy.
about 300 pages full of
I like it.
characters,
Yeah.
storyboards, designs. So
Storyboarding is so important in comic books.
it
So
was a much bigger challenge than I thought it would be, because initially I had written this massive, like over bloated story, not thinking about the fact that it has to be formatted in comic, format. And
yeah,
so the story, I mean, when it came time to storyboarding it, it came out to like almost 100 pages. And I was like,
that's five
there's,
comic books right there. Depending on how many pages you want to do, that's like 4 books.
yeah. And I didn't really want to do like a graphic novel kind of approach. I wanted to do single
Yeah.
issue because I mean, I'm a collector too. And
hmm
that's part of the excitement is, getting through a
I'm a
story, waiting
I'm
for
a
the
huge
next
fan
one.
of floppies. Like
Yeah.
there's just it's the smell of them, the paper texture, seeing like who. And this is what I love about Image is they still use that top notch cardstock covers. And then I don't know, it's something about a single freshly printed comic book, the way it smells and feels in your hands. It's one of those great things in life that we get to experience. So
No, I'm the exact same way. Even for like things like CDs, music. I used to love going and checking out different like CDs. You don't even know what the band is. You just buy it because of the album art. You flip through the album art and it's just interesting. And even if
I'm
you don't
so
like the
guilty of
band, you
that back in
listen
the
to it.
day.
Yeah,
I'm
even if you
so
don't like the
guilty of
band or
it.
music, you listen to it enough until you do like it. And then you start to
No.
appreciate these
You
little
know,
things.
I also really admire this thing about my husband. He likes to like look at like when you watch like a movie and you can get the commentary or
hmm
like look up trivia and find out like oh, this was actually supposed to be filmed over here, but we ended up doing this, or this part was
Yeah,
improvised.
no, I know
He
exactly what you're
always
talking
does.
about.
He does all that like research. He likes to
So
know.
in other words, I'm just a massive nerd.
Yeah.
Ah, there's no such thing here. You're on the United States Department of Nerds. That's just how it is here. That's normal. That's like you can't throw a rock in the United States Department of Nerds and not hit somebody else like that.
Yeah, I
Jiminy
think we're in the right
Crickets is
place.
in the house. He's saying, "What's up, guys?" That's another guy who was super excited about this book. I don't know if he's relations to y'all or friends with y'all, but he definitely let it be known that he was
That's
all about it.
Jiminy Crickets is actually my conscience, so he's making an appearance tonight. Thanks for being my
Well,
conscience.
shit, glad he can make it, man, because you're killing it so far. So, oh yeah, nerds are cool. Hell yeah, it's about time people realized it too, man. Um, so the 80s and 90s revenge action is definitely strong here. What references or influences guided that style of art and story for you? I know we dropped on it in a little bit, but I like to hear you say it.
I think like the late 80s to mid 90s was some of the best times in comics. I feel like those were the that was the time period where all those characters were really fleshed out, and those people, they were willing to take risks and tell strange stories, and it's just such a great time. And they weren't afraid to get really like dark or go to like dark gritty places, especially with like the Punisher. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have such an appreciation for that era of those comics.
No,
So
absolutely.
it was definitely a direct inspiration for what I wanted to do, especially aesthetically. But I do want to explore a lot of other themes. There's going to be some issues where it's a little lighthearted or
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more quiet. But yeah, those are definitely
Those
big
issues are important
inspirations.
to storytelling though, because that's where you're fleshing out characters. You're fleshing out little intricacies about characters. So those are definitely important to the overall big action storytelling that will come in between those types of things. And I always kind of like seeing as you're reading, for instance, House of Slaughter has a few issues in there where it's just they're fleshing out characters. There's no killing of monsters. They're just fleshing out characters, and then they come out with like the next big character, and it's like boom, right back into the action, swinging hard and heavy, monster killing galore. And I like that about storytelling, where you get a chance to kind of take a step back from the heavy action and just flesh out characters, and you get to know the character. So no, I mean I feel like that's part of comic book storytelling. You're not going to have every not every part of a comic book is going to be wham bam, and you know what I'm saying. You got to have some time to flesh characters. So,
and comics are the perfect medium to do it, because I mean, there's so many.
To me, that's one of the best ways.
Yeah, there's so many like films coming out based on comics and series, but for me, I'm a comics first kind of guy, because there's so much that gets lost. You're trying to cram in all these issues or all this backstory into a 30-minute episode or an hour-long film. So with comics, you can do so much. You can imagine whatever you want to imagine. It's the perfect medium for this kind of storytelling.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I use the reference of we know we're about to get, what is it, Secret War from Marvel. Well, while the Secret War was being fought, there was like two other wars in the Marvel universe being fought at the same exact time that had more impact on the Marvel universe than the Secret Wars. So I think it's really cool. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, now we leave the political type stuff someplace else. We don't do that kind of stuff here. We focus on the comic book and the storytelling of the comic book and the man telling the story of the comic book. So if you're in the comments or if you're listening at home, we at the United States Department of Nerds do not do politics and do not speak of politics. We focus on the content and the creators. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's very like we lived in a really like polarized world, so it's really hard to navigate, you know.
It really is. And one of the things I try to do here is if there's something that is like posted or something like that politically leaning, I typically remove it and just don't acknowledge it, because I don't like that. I try to keep everything about the content, about the plague tonight, and that's what we're going to do. So there's a cinematic quality, almost like old VHS horror turned comic book. Was this intentional with the way you did this? Because you kind of get that 80s and 90s vibe in the story that I've seen so far. So was that intentionally done that way, or?
I think that just kind of developed organically. It wasn't really something I had in mind. Because like I said, everything is becoming so like, they're making the jump from like comics right into films. I know a lot of people that's their end goal is to make films or series, but for me, like I said, I'm a comics first person. I honestly don't even care if the plague ever becomes like some film, or I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm all about the comics. So
I like that.
Yeah.
So how important was the color in building this dystopian supernatural mood? I know you yourself have never been to New Orleans, but in that swamp scene in this book, you're nailing the essence of that. So I don't know who your artist is doing it, but they've nailed that essence of the swamps in New Orleans in that.
Yeah,
so
the artist, his name is Miguel Ayuso. He's a great artist. And in terms of like the color and stuff, what I wanted to kind of express was that as the moment gets closer to Diego's demise, things become more bleak, and it's kind of like foreshadowing that things are starting to get darker, and making that transition from that dystopian world into that supernatural kind of element of the story.
Yeah, it would kind of be cool to see it as an animated film or a series. Just from what I've seen of it, it would be kind of dope. Not gonna lie.
Maybe one day. We'll see.
All right, let's talk about the Kickstarter now. So this is an indie self-published project that is definitely make or break for y'all. How has that journey been like so far? And I know you've gotten partial completed book right now. Like, how has this journey been for y'all?
It's been tough. I mean, I had never made a legitimate comic before. I mean, as a kid, I just make like little doodles and sketches and stuff, but nothing ever like this. So I didn't really know what to anticipate. And I found the biggest issue I had was actually my own ambition. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had to take this huge story with all this background and shove it into this 30-page comic. And I had to really whittle down so much of the story, cut huge chunks out, go back and forth to the drawing board, rework things. It was a real challenge. But I learned a lot. I learned what not to do. And I'm still learning. So I think by the time
you're going to be
issue
evolving.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I think by the time issue 2 comes around, I'm going to be pretty much knowing what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Yeah. And also like me, I've drawn a bit in the past. Like I've never really like I usually just like draw a bit, give up, years later, try again, like
Mhm.
And when I would draw, I'd like to draw with like a reference and do like more like just humans,
Yeah.
like photorealistic. So seeing like the comic world and how important the line work is and the coloring, all this stuff, like
So,
I feel like there's
you
so
know, a
much
lot
to
of it is
learn.
tracing, right? A lot of the comic book art that you see, covers and that kind of stuff, that's mostly tracing. If you go watch some of the big artists do their covers, a
Yeah.
lot of it is tracing.
Oh,
It is pretty
I feel like
insane.
you can tell. Like I feel like you can
Yeah.
tell the difference when something is just sketched organically.
Mhm.
And personally, I prefer that. Like
I
I
mean, they
love
do a
the
lot of sketching, and then like they put it on the light board, and then that's when they start working on their final like cuts of their covers and stuff like that. But yeah, they have these. A lot of it's tracing, and it's just they're really damn good at it.
yeah, but it's also crazy how there's the person who does the color, the person who does the inks, the person who does the
Mhm.
liners. Like, so like us trying to like get into the comic world, it's just like, oh, okay, well we have to be like basically like 20 different people each, And it's just like it's kind of like overwhelming, but it's kind of interesting to
Or you
like,
find one person that can do it all.
Yeah, we're trying, but we'll see.
So we got Taylor here who can't wait to get their T-shirt from the Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter hadn't even launched yet. But you got to admit
Yeah.
that shirt is super clean. Look at that Lucky Devil comic shirt as well. So I'm guessing these are both going to be a part of the Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
For
So
sure.
these are like the prototypes, the early designs, but it's pretty much what you see here is what's going to be on the Kickstarter. And we've
It's
got
the
a
one
lot
of
of other
ones right
rewards.
there. It's the one of ones. I know how you feel. That's a one of one too.
Got to represent. Yeah.
Exactly. You have to. I like it that you were both like, you know what, we're going to do this together. We're going to rock our one of one T-shirts. I like that a lot.
Well,
So
this is the only T-shirt I own. I'm kind of strapped for cash, so I didn't really have much of a
hungry
choice.
artist. You're a hungry artist. Of course you're strapped for cash, my man. We all are. I have bad
Yeah.
habits. They're called comic books and Legos and Star Wars action figures. Oh, we got a whole family waiting on their
speaking of
merch.
Star Wars little action figures. Got a little.
Little Darth Vader
He should
action.
have came
Yeah.
out with the intro, but he's making his appearance now. So.
Yeah.
Okay, before when you get the clips of this, you're going to hear Darth Vader's voice saying you are listening to the DFPN or the USDN on the DFPN, and that is actually my good friend Frank D, who does the voice, and he does it as Darth Vader. He's also a Darth Vader cosplayer.
Oh, nice.
Recognized by the 501st Legion. So shout out to Frank D and happy belated birthday, buddy, because I know you just had a birthday too. So
yeah, he killed it, man. That's a hell of an intro. Very
yeah,
cool.
he just does the voice, like the Darth Vader voice you hear in the intro. That's him. So
Yeah, he killed
really
it.
cool stuff there. He needs an original early design tee as well. Your conscience is wanting a t-shirt, dude.
We'll see. We'll see.
You need to talk to your conscience and get him put into check, or at least get him back inside.
Well, he makes very rare appearances, but
Hey,
yeah, with the T-shirt, which, like I said, what you see is pretty much what you get.
I traded my conscience for a 10-speed bike after my other 10-speed bike got stolen. The one I traded with my soul. So we've all been there, friend. So how did you put this team together? I mean, obviously you married half your team, but like your artist, and who else do you have on your team?
So yeah, Lucky Devil is just myself and my wife. And for the art, originally we wanted to do it ourselves, but
Yeah,
like I
but
said, we didn't anticipate what a major task that would be.
yeah, it's gonna take a while to get there, but
Yeah, so we
that's
decided to outsource. So
Mm-hmm.
the interior work is done by Miguel Ayuso. Like I said,
Okay.
great artist. The cover art was done by Daniel Gimeno. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Another fantastic artist.
Yeah, no,
And
the cover is really cool. I like the cover.
and the background art for the cover was done by Nicole. So the character that you see is Daniel Gimeno. The background, that's all Nicole.
I see you. Okay. She's earning her keep, man.
Yeah.
yeah. I
She's
mean,
keeping that wife
just
title.
yeah, we just got like a tablet, like somewhat recently. So I'm like not only not being into that kind of art, but switching to digital art too. It's like there's
I
a lot
know.
to learn. There's a lot to learn for sure.
Mine is literally right here.
Oh.
I'm trying my hand at it as well, and
Mhm.
it's not going as good as what you're doing. But I am trying my hand at it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So far, what has been your biggest challenge in getting this off the ground outside of the money that it does go to put into this book to make it happen?
Yeah, the finances was definitely a struggle, but I think the biggest issue is just time. I mean, I work 6 days a week. I'm always on the road. Um, it's really just hard to find time to do all the things I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of stuff to do. So it's just really time is like the biggest factor.
Oh, time is everybody's enemy.
Yeah. I think that like we already mentioned before, like kind of condensing it into like the 30 pages or whatever
Mm-hmm.
amount of pages you need, like it's hard to like think about what can be cut and what because you don't
Yeah,
want to take a
what's vital to the story, what's
yeah.
important.
Yeah, that's so I don't know how many of my episodes you had watched the Vitilium series that I interviewed Nicholas on. He so his comic book is based off his sci-fi book of the same name, Vitilium. And he will tell you straight up in that interview, the hardest thing he did was taking the book and trying now to convert it over into a comic book as well, and finding what works and doesn't work. And that's what is good about having a good team behind you with your artist and your wife there to go, hey, this is a critical point right here. We definitely want to keep this in. And this one, and we could probably take that out. It's not so vital. But if it comes back later, it's like, oh, maybe we should have kept that. But you could always do a flashback to it in another issue. So, I mean,
Yeah.
there's ways to fix things later, but you definitely don't want to cut out stuff that's very vital to the story. And that's something I do not envy you on at all.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
I
happy
can't imagine how hard that is.
I'm happy we can at least bounce things off of each other because I feel like sometimes, you can feel so like attached to certain ideas, or you might have so much bias that you're not able to like, you know, you don't want to compromise, you don't want to change something, but like at least we're able to like give
Yeah.
each other
See, I wanted
suggestions.
to add huge, ginormous tits on the plague, and she kept telling me it was such a bad idea. I still think it's a good idea. I think maybe
You know what? I can see it though. I can see it, but I don't really
He
know
just
how the
smokes his
character
tape and then
himself.
that's what
I don't know how the character himself is going to feel about that.
well,
But
he like I said, he's going to go
maybe
through a
if you would have
transformation.
flipped
So
it, and maybe it was his girlfriend who was being, becoming the plague, then it could have
could
worked
be,
that way.
could be.
But
I
I
mean,
love the humor, man. I really do,
I see a lot of Kickstarters, and those seem to be the most
oh
successful. As
yeah,
those,
that's true.
dude.
I
With
contemplated it.
Yeah.
dude, you have no idea, like that. Yeah. But my boy Kelvin has a question here. How rewarding is it to see your work so appreciated and anticipated as a result of the hard work that you've put in? And we were discussing this. You're definitely getting that.
Honestly, I still can't believe it. I mean, I expected to get like a fraction of
Mhm.
what I got in terms of people being interested, but people are reaching out to me, asking me when's it coming out. Like, and it's just like I can't believe it. You know,
Yeah.
it's definitely rewarding, but I also see it as a big responsibility. You know, because
I mean,
once
at
you
the end
take
of
on
the
a big
day,
project,
though, it's going to be up to all those people to make it happen. So, and
yeah,
that's as people are asking you these questions. I mean, that's literally the answer. Is this up to y'all who keep, coming and asking questions and showing support and, really showing interest in this? That's going to make this book happen. So you give them
yeah,
that
definitely.
answer. That's the answer. And Jiminy Cricket is back. He said that's issue number 2, the SAG. Come on, man. You
I
need
don't
to
think
get
it's
your
gonna happen that
conscience.
fast.
You got to get your conscience in check.
maybe,
He was still a young man when he
maybe
became
issue
the plague,
35 or
okay?
something.
At least let the man make it into his 30s, late 30s at that.
I like that though, the
Oh,
SAG. I think
I
that could
like
be a
it.
good protagonist.
There we go. There we go. Uh, so talk to us about the upcoming campaign and what backers can expect in terms of some of the rewards and exclusives. I mean, we're seeing 2 of them right now with the t-shirts, which are really dope looking, but kind of break it down to everybody. Like, we know you're going to have the book, a digital book, but what else can expect from it?
Yeah, I wanted to keep the rewards simple but exciting, you know. So I try to think in terms of what I would want. And yeah, the t-shirts for sure. We got the digital, the physical copy. We got a hoodie that's coming. Uh, I'm also offering a cameo for people that want to be in the comic, that's going to be fun. What else do we got?
Be careful with that. You'll end up like my boy Christopher Ford with Dark Pink, where he had to create 3 extra mini stories to get all the characters in. I'm not shitting you. He was like, dude, I had to create 3 mini stories to get all the people in who wanted to make cameos in the comic book, which is insane to think about. But I would love to see that happen for you because I think that would be really,
Yeah.
really cool to see.
Well, we're thinking more so like you show up like in a panel, not like a full-on character, you know?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
did
that's the
limit
way
it
it was in
to
his
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
I did limit it to 10. So
Okay, yeah, there you go. You got to
think
limit
about
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Because I'm not sure what happened with him. I think he just kind of left it open and then it just kind of ran away.
Okay.
And
I
people
mean,
were like, oh, I want
he
in
did
on
something right.
this. No,
He did
he
something right because
absolutely did.
he killed it with that Kickstarter.
Dude,
Yeah,
his
so
marketing was
congrats to him.
insane. His marketing was insane. I was talking to him about that. And even today, I'm still seeing pop-up ads for Dark Pink, which is insane to me because, I mean, you can still buy in on the Kickstarter. For those who wonder, Kickstarters, when they close, yes, they're closed, but you can still buy in on them depending on the settings of the Kickstarter. So it is still possible, but it's still crazy to see like the marketing on his book is absolutely insane. So if you have a budget for marketing, put some money into marketing because that will ultimately, at the end of the day, be one of your best friends. So what does fan support mean to you personally, knowing that every pledge will help make this World of the Plague happen? This is basically your love to the fans. Give it now.
Yeah, I mean, their support means everything because without them, it's not getting made. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And I mean, I'm also not just doing this for myself. Obviously, I want to tell a story and do this comic, but I want to create something that's going to last, you know? I have 100 issues in mind. I want to create something that people are going to love, you know? And yeah, I mean, their support means everything.
Dude, you're well on your way, dude. I'm telling you. I was telling you earlier when y'all asked me like how many of these I've done this year, and I told you I think I was like close to 20, I think. And hopefully I get 20 more before the end of the year. That would be the goal at the end of the day for me from a creator standpoint and supporting the guys like y'all who are passionate about what y'all do and giving y'all a platform to come and tell your story and hopefully get this story made for y'all. So, I mean, absolutely, I can understand how important that is. And if I could do 20 more this year, I'll do 20. I'll do 30. So I know exactly how it feels. But when I was marketing and advertising for you, and I remember I hit you up. I was like, hey, do you think you could send me over the Lucky Devil logo? And you're like, I'll have my wife do it. And like I felt like I put the sentence together. I put the period, hit send, and you replied back as like, my wife is sending it now. And then I pulled up my email and it was like right there. I was like, damn. I was like, that's impressive. I'm like, all right, cool. Now I got everything I need to market this and to advertise it. And the moment I'm putting them up, people are like outpouring, just like likes piling in, like, hey, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. So y'all definitely have a great fan base built around y'all, whether it's friends, family, just people want to see something new and different that doesn't have TNA in it, which is really cool.
Well, there's still room for TNA.
Hey, you can squeeze in some TNA, I'm sure, but let's not let TNA be what all Kickstarters are about.
It's going to be an Easter egg. You're going to have to look for it, but it's going to be in there.
There's going to be a tree. There's going to be a tree in the swamp that looks like a naked lady.
I like it.
Oh, I'm not even mad at it, to be fair. I've seen crazier cameos in books, so. But so I know you're on the road 6 days a week. And so how has that been like balancing the creative and the business sides of this? Because I mean, essentially you made Lucky Devil Comics to be the brand pushing out the plague. I know that's not an easy thing to do, to be on the road 6 days a week and also taking care of this side hustle as well. So how's that been? Like, how are you managing that from a time perspective?
It's definitely got its pros and cons. I mean, some days are just frustrating because I just want to park the truck, go home, write the story because I've just got all these ideas. I got to make sure that I don't forget them. But at the same time, being on the road, it gives me a lot of time to think about the story.
Do you have a recorder for the road?
No, what I do really is I'll just play like a movie in my head. Like I'll just picture the plague and just play out the whole scenario of what I want to happen, and then it just kind of sticks in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, you got a phone, right? You got a cell phone. You just hit the record and you start talking into it with ideas.
Yeah, I feel like my husband, he's got like a vision, and he's like very like, he's really good at like imagining and stuff like that. So I think that like because he's watching like a movie, it kind of ingrains in his like memory. Just kind of like
I'm a very visual learner.
Okay.
I'm like the opposite. I have like no imagination. Like that's why I used to like to draw with like references, because it's just like it's so hard for me to come up with things, which is why I'm like trying like kind of struggling. Like, you know, but I'm trying to.
I mean, you drew the background for this T-shirt, so I don't want to hear you say it. No, you're good, girl. You're good. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I find that if you tell me something, I'll never remember it. But if I see it and I have it in my mind, then for some reason I can just remember it.
Yeah, seeing it and then doing, I will never forget. I don't know why. It's always been that way, but if I read something or if you tell me your name, like that's why when you told me your name earlier, when I asked, I was like, shit, I'm horrible with names. I hope I remember
I know,
that.
I'm usually pretty bad too.
So thankfully I remembered, but your conscious is back and he's saying he sees huge potential here. And he says you're talented, and I'm not going to disagree with that statement. So, and Kelvin says proportionate to the body, please and thanks. God damn it. I don't know where we went wrong on this one, but it's all about TNA tonight, I guess. And shit, why not, right? It's still the weekend.
Hey.
All right. So how far ahead? I know you've said you in your head you have this 100 issue comic book planned out. But realistically, how far do you think you are in that story from, like, if you could print it all today, how many issues do you think creatively you have ready to go?
So in total, I have 100. I felt like 100 was just a nice, clean number. So I wrote it in such a way where it's kind of open-ended, where 100 is kind of where the story ends, but there's room for the plague to kind of return if I did want to go past 100 issues.
Well,
And
I
there's
think
also,
with a name like the Plague, it's kind of like a never. You can't ever really get rid of it. It could go dormant, but it comes back.
yeah, that's a good point. And I mean, I've got plans for spin-off characters and side titles, and
Yeah, but maybe do you mean like how many issues maybe are like storyboarded? Like if we have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
movie come
yeah,
out kind of thing? Oh,
yeah.
okay. How many do you think?
uh, I'll give you a percentage. I'd say it's about 45% complete.
Okay.
A
No, that's a
lot of
great
it,
number. I mean, we're
yeah,
looking at almost 45 plus issues right there. So that's a good number.
yeah. I mean, I've got it pretty detailed in terms of like mapping out the story of what I want to do. But I felt like writing it in totality would give me that opportunity to go back and tweak things and refine things and allow things to kind of come full circle. So
No,
yeah,
absolutely, yeah. No, I like that. And I mean, we when we look at it from a realistic standpoint, if you were with like Image or a DC or a Marvel, a Boom Studios, a Dynamite, the best you would probably get is 6 to 12 issues. Maybe. That's just how they operate. So anything that really goes over that is really just phenomenal because you don't see it often. And the fact that you have right now, you could drop 45 issues is absolutely amazing. So I amend that, applaud it. I love to hear it. And you answered my next question, which is, will this, like with the storylines you have planned, would it expand the Plague and maybe into some other supernatural corners? You got room for ghosts and goblins, and you got room for all that, or do you already have that planned
yes.
out?
Yeah.
I don't want to give away too much, but there's a lot going on,
Mhm.
and there's
I
room
like
for
it.
spin-off characters and different types of stories that I want to tell.
No, that's cool, dude. So in the process of doing the Plague, do you think you'll pause the Plague at any point and go, "Hey, I want to give you a story about a side character,"
I
or
was
do you
thinking
think
more.
you'll just go the Plague straight through and then maybe spin-offs?
I was thinking more in terms of using the plague as kind of like a launching pad, where
Mm-hmm.
like those old Marvel stories, they kind of use a popular title like the Fantastic Four or something to introduce another character.
No, absolutely, yeah,
You always see that first appearance in somebody else's title. I
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
So that's kind of the idea I wanted to run with, was try to do like a very classic comic book kind of aesthetic. I mean, even with the plague's real name, it's Diego Diaz, running with that theme of like Peter Parker, Matt Murdock,
Yeah,
you
but I
know,
like that. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, I love that, classic comic book kind of like vibe, you know.
That's it. It's one of the coolest tropes in comic book that kind of really isn't talked about very often. And even when you talk Daredevil, I mean, it's
Yeah,
there.
it's got a ring to it, it's got a charm to it. So I wanted to really lean into that classic 80s, 90s kind of, even if it veered off into cheesy territory, I'm okay with
I
that.
love cheesy.
Yeah, but I was gonna say that's the point, really. I mean, I think a lot of comic books take themselves too seriously, and
Mhm.
they don't give you kind of that. They've done away with the cheesy, but I still say there's plenty of room for cheesy in comic books. Like some of my favorite things are the one-liners from whether it's a villain or a hero. Just when they give that one-liner, that quick quip that you're not expecting from them.
Mhm.
That's some of my favorite parts of comic books. Is just those fun little quirky one-liners that you have to sit there and stare at for a minute and go, "Damn, that was good.
Yeah.
I like that." And then
Uh,
you'll
I,
find yourself saying it too.
I can't get enough of those one-liners. I always think about Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's got like a million one-liners.
Oh, dude, that dude's
You know,
a library of one-liners.
yeah. I mean, I love that kind of like cheesy, campy,
Yeah, we
almost.
love puns and
Yeah.
like yeah, or witty humor too. Sometimes you could say something that's
I
it's
think
kind of
that's
corny,
that's
but it's
something
kind of clever.
Spider-Man is really good at, is that witty, like fun humor where he's not trying to insult you, but he's insulting you. But the way he
Mhm.
says it, it's like, I don't know if I want to be insulted right now or just be like, this dude's whipping my butt, and he's also like backhand complimenting me with the and making fun of me at the same time.
Mhm.
So I like that kind of stuff, man. So gotta ask though, if your character, the Plague, could collab with any other comic book character right now, what would you like to explore? It could be any character. I don't care what branch or what comic it is, just any character.
I gotta say Swamp Thing. I mean, I think it already takes place in the swamp. They're both very kind of like solitary, isolated characters. I think that'd be a really interesting dynamic between them. I
I
don't know
can't
how
tell
I'd
you
write
how
it,
much
but
I love the Swamp Thing.
yeah,
And your conscience won't spawn.
Spawn would be cool.
Spawn would be cool, but there's something about Swamp Thing that I absolutely, since I was a child, when I would watch the Swamp Thing on TV at night with my granny when I should have been sleeping, but I'm sitting there watching Swamp Thing. And then when I found the comic book, reading the comic book, some Garth Ennis and that kind of stuff. And now I know Something is Killing the Children is doing a one-shot crossover with Swamp Thing called Swamp Thing is Killing the Children. And I just absolutely cannot wait for that. Anytime there's new Swamp Thing, I'm all about it.
Yeah, I think they're doing a continuation of the Swamp Thing from the '80s. I think that storyline they're going to do a one-off or continuation. So I'm looking forward to that too.
I am too. Like I said, he like he's reached God status within the DC world, and I'm absolutely here for it. The guy can literally travel between worlds through the world. So I mean, how freaking cool is that? So I'm all about Swamp Thing, and plus Swamp Thing gave me one of my other favorite characters with John Constantine. So I'm not mad. In
Yeah,
case
that
you
was
didn't
a
wonder, the only real DC stuff I like is like the darker, greedier stuff. Anything with the Magic, Justice League Dark, and that kind of stuff within DC are like my favorite things. The DC Vertigo days from the 80s and 90s, that's my jams.
yeah, love it.
You can have Batman, you can have Superman. I like Wonder Woman because she led Justice League Dark for a little while, so she can stay on my cool book. But I could care less for her otherwise, unless it's a Justice League Dark. So what do you want your legacy to be as a indie creator for when people look back at this series? Ooh, it's a hard one. Yeah, I think about this one.
You know, I think just creating something that's timeless that people can kind of look back on and say, you know, I can relate to this, or I can relate to this character. There's similar things going on in my life. Or, you know, I think for me growing up, comics were not just about like the flashy action and the spandex and
Mhm.
all that colorful stuff.
I hope it wasn't
To me,
about the
there,
spandex there, buddy.
well, but yeah, for me, there was always like kind of like a deeper message with the characters. I mean, you have Spider-Man where they kind of instill that idea that with great power comes great responsibility. And you have Captain America and Superman and what they stand for. And for me, I'm a sucker for those messages, you know. And with the Plague, I know he kind of comes off as an anti-hero, but at his core, I kind of see him as more of a traditional hero that stands for something.
I like it, dude. I like it a lot, man. Um, Before we start winding down, give me your last three comic books that you've bought and read.
Hmm. Well, recently I actually got the Swamp Thing Compendium from my
I got
cousin.
some Alan Moore.
Yeah, I love this thing.
Dude, I got the
It's
same
such a good
one.
read.
Absolutely love it.
The artwork, the storytelling, the pacing, it's just such a
And
great
Alan Moore
story.
just released a book too that I think you would like as well. You should check it out.
Yeah, I think his run of Swamp Thing was just was awesome. It was
Top
incredible.
notch, dude. I don't think another creator on him can light the candle the way he did on that one. So I'm right there with you. Come on, two more.
What was the other one? You know, the problem with me is I'll just buy them and just put them on the shelf.
It's okay.
I
What were the
think-
last ones you bought? What were the last ones you bought?
Let's see. I got them around here somewhere. Oh, there we go. So besides for Swamp Thing,
Rebirth?
these two.
Okay. Okay.
And I actually got these from Value Village. Do you guys have Value Village in the States? I don't even know.
So we don't. We have a place called Sacken and Charles that does. They do current runs of comic books, but they do a lot of back issue stuff where you can go and buy. Like I like to go there sometimes and buy like a mystery box of indie comics just to see what's in there. I mean, I've gotten some $50, $60 books out of those, and I've only paid $25 for the box. So those are fun to do sometimes. Yeah, your conscience said Goodwill does as well sometimes. Me personally, I'm great friends with my local comic shop. I love buying local and supporting small business. So, and he gives me my old man retiree discount for the military. So, and I read like a lot of comic books. I've really enjoyed Aubrey Sitterson's Free Planet. Something is Killing the Children. Anything that has James Tynion, the Force name on it, World Tree, Something is Killing the Children, House of Slaughter. I know Grimm is getting ready to end at Boom Studios. Issue 25 is getting ready to come out here soon, which will close out that series. I'm a huge fan of that. I'm a huge fan of indie comics, in case you didn't notice. I did try reading Absolute Flash just because it's Wally West and I wanted to give Wally some love. But after about 8 issues, I was just like, kind of done with this Absolute universe. It's cool, but kind of done with it.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I'm all about the classics. I mean, like I said, I feel like in the 80s and 90s, those characters were just perfected. You know, they were just fleshed out. I mean, those characters, they've been around for so long that everything has been explored with them. So, I mean, they just constantly get retconned. But for me, I never get sick of going back and reading those old back issues.
And that's why I have like the trade paperbacks and the compendiums of Swamp Thing and Hellblazer and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, man, I'm such a huge indie comic guy. And that's why what I love about doing these types of interviews tonight is I get to talk to indie creators, the soul source. You know what I'm saying? You're not a part of Image. You're not a part of Boom or Dynamite. You're simply Lucky Devil Comics, your Styles, your Nicole, and you're trying to put something out for the people. But before we close it out tonight, tell everybody where they can follow Lucky Devil Comics and when the Kickstarter will be dropping.
Kickstarter is October 21st. And
that's 2 days, people. 2 days.
Yeah.
Go to Kickstarter right now. Type in the plague, hit remind me or notify me, and it will notify you on launch. That way you can be one of the first ones to get in on the plague. I know I got my notify me button pushed. Continue on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, please check out the Kickstarter. We got a lot of cool stuff on there. We got some stretch goals.
Yeah, I'm so excited for the stretch
goals. We got
goals.
variant covers. A lot of cool stuff going on over there. And you can find us on our social media. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, no, they can see that.
I think, hold on, this part's getting blocked with TikTok. Like, okay.
Oh, and they're on TikTok, which is something I can't do TikTok. I tried so hard.
I'm not super active on anything other than Instagram, but that's just because I just have no time. But I would like to start, phasing out of the trucking industry and hopefully into comics full time, because I got a lot of goals I want to accomplish, and a lot of stories I want to tell.
I like to hear it, man. I like to hear it. So, as they said, go to the Kickstarter, click notify me on the plague. That way you can be one of the first people notified when the plague drops, October 21st. I'm guessing around lunchtime.
It'll probably be earlier in the morning. I'm thinking maybe 10 a.m.
There we go. Just before lunch. And then when you go to lunch, you can simply hop on Kickstarter and go out and support Lucky Devil Comics and the Plague. Go over to Instagram, just type in Lucky Devil Comics. I swear to God, they're going to be the first ones to pop up, and same over on Facebook. Trust me, they're easy to find. I even found them. Now, with that, I will be back here tomorrow night with the Apogee Comics, and I'm sitting down with the whole team from Apogee Comics tomorrow night. It's going to be a blast, which, I mean, tonight we got the surprise of Nicole joining us. She tried to get out of it. I'm not going to lie to y'all. She tried to get out of it. And I was like, no. Come on back. You're part of the team. Let's make it happen with both of them. And both of y'all were a delight to have on. I am wishing y'all the best of luck on this Kickstarter. Remember, guys, this is a make or break Kickstarter for them. So you need to show up. You need to support. That way the Plague can get made, because without your support, this comic book will not get made. So please understand that as you're going to the voting booths tomorrow. No, I'm just playing. You're not going to the voting booths. You're going to Kickstarter in 2 days. Bro, without a doubt, Lucky Devil Comics, The Plague, Styles P, and Nicole, and Jiminy fucking Cricket, for God's sakes, are all USDN approved. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to wish you all a good night. And don't forget, Kickstarter in 2 days, or Batman will come and find you. We are out, y'all. Enjoy your nights and safe travels tomorrow.
It's a trap!